All right, folks. So the next stop on our Road of Life podcast is with Natalie Fougere of Moncton, New Brunswick. Natalie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. And how are you?
Doing pretty good. So we'll start off with where you were born and your life story and all that stuff. Where were you born?
Okay, so I was actually born at the Moncton Hospital, but the first years of my life, I lived 14 years of my life. And then in 1999, I moved to Dieppe. And then in 2000, I was with my parents during that time. And in 2004, I moved to Moncton, on my own, well, in an independent living center. I can talk about that a bit after. And so I've been in Moncton ever since. I've seen all three cities.
Okay. So you were born with a challenge. Were you born with your current challenge? Or?
I absolutely was. It evolved since then.
And what is it called?
Okay, so I actually have two conditions. The first one that I was born with is congenital optic nerve hypoplasia.
Mhm.
So when I was born, nobody even noticed that there was any challenges going on. Everything seemed perfect. I went home and everything. And then usually a baby would follow the light or anything, like when my parents were moving. And I was not following. So there was really questioning with that. And then a family friend ended up saying to my parents, well, she can't see. You really need to go and get that checked. So we went here at the Moncton Hospital, and there was definitely there was even a doctor that told mom she was crazy for thinking that at first. So we ended up going to Halifax at the IWK. And once they took further testing, they noticed that my optic nerve hasn't been developed. And the doctors at the time told my parents, in their very encouraging way, I guess 41 years ago, they said, her, it's going to be like a toaster without a cord. That's how they said that. So then, of course, it was very challenging for my parents, but we got through it and got great support from there. And the other doctor in the area here really apologized for for saying that.
So to clarify, you were born with visual challenges.
Yes, well, I was born blind. Really, like I was almost considered totally blind. So for the first, well, I guess I would say 37 years, 36 or 37 years, I seen the same thing. So because first I had no vision whatsoever, and as a few months went by, I developed some shadows. So I was able to see a few shadows in the corner of my right eye, so I could see light perception and the difference between dark and light. I could see some specific, like certain shapes. If someone was in front of me, I could tell that like something or someone was there. I could not tell who it was, and I almost saw nothing from my left eye. That's what happened for the the first most of my life. And in the last few years, I developed another condition called keratoconus with my cornea, and that made that I lost most of the little bit of vision that I had. I still see a little bit of light perception, but I can't see these shapes really anymore from my right eye. What was going on that I was noticing a difference of vision is that, for example, I used to be able to follow if somebody was walking ahead of me. I was usually able to follow a little bit using my white cane that I started to use when I was little, when I was very young. Um, so when I noticed I couldn't follow, I would always tell other reasons. Like I would tell my friend, for example, "Oh, I think that the jacket that you're wearing is too light," or I would say it's too dark, and I would find other reasonings without realizing that what was happening is that I was losing this little bit of vision that I had.
So present day, how much vision do you have present day?
Pretty much near to nothing, like except maybe a little bit of light perception.
Mhm.
Sometimes I still think that I can see a few shadows, but I think it's maybe the memory of my former, like my former vision that that's still trying to see that. But it's very, very super, super small, like the things that I can see.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So how old are you now?
I'm 41.
And you've lived your whole life in the Greater Moncton area, New Brunswick, Canada, on Canada's eastern seaboard.
Yes, I have.
Have you done much traveling?
And I actually did some traveling. One of my main trips that I remember, I've done a lot of traveling in the country, but as to go to other countries, in 1999, I participated in a trip to France. It was an exchange trip. It was all for people that live with sight loss in our francophone group, and it was really, really neat because I had the chance to see a specialized school there in France, in the city of Nantes in France. They had a specialized school so for the blind. So I have always been, like when I was in school, I've always been to regular school. So I never had anything like specialized, but I did have specialized services. So when I went to France, I really seen the difference in the I seen how I guess how blessed I was to have been in a regular school, but also I've seen the few advantages of people that were in specialized school. So that was a great realization for me in that trip, and we really we really had a fun time. The less
How do people get treated in France that have visual challenges?
Well, they're treated. See, this is in 1999, so this was quite a few years ago. At the time, it kind of felt a little bit like an institution, like that people needed to follow certain rules, and that there was. But it's kind of like that some specialized schools for the blind, were at the time. So. I mean, but what I found that was great about having that school is, for example, if someone would go to the gym, it was gym class. Everyone would play the same sport. So, okay, we're playing goalball today, for example. That's a specialized sport for the blind. So everybody would play the same thing, so people would not feel excluded in a class like that. So that's one of the good things that I've noticed by going there.
Do you find that society in Canada is generally inclusive when it comes to people with visual challenges?
I do feel that okay. There's been some. There's been some um, progression that's been made. Like there's really there's a lot of good things that are advanced, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
What areas are lacking?
Well, I find that the area of awareness, being able to make people aware of how to properly interact with people who are blind and live with sight loss, and I feel that that's a big, big that can be a big, big step for people to realize that we are people as well, and that we're able to do anything that anyone else can do. It's just that we might sometimes do it differently.
So you went to high school in the Greater Moncton area as well?
Yes, I did.
Did you
Mathieu Martin High School in Dieppe.
in Dieppe, New Brunswick, Canada?
Yes.
Did you do any post-secondary?
Yes, I actually completed two bachelors at Université de Moncton. So from 2005 until 2010, I completed a multidisciplinary arts bachelor. I did courses in psychology, French studies, and communications. That was my first bachelor. Then I did the accelerated program in translation from 2010 to 2012. So I completed that program afterwards.
Excellent. And at present time, you work for?
I work for CNIB at the moment.
And what does that stand for?
Canadian National Institute for the Blind.
Okay.
And we're an organization that provide different services and programs for people that live with sight loss. And my specific role is the program lead, peer support, and technology. I've been working since October of last year.
Excellent. So did they do advocacy work? A lot of advocacy work?
Oh, yes, there is a whole lot of advocacy work that's being done. Just to give a little bit of an example, like in the winter time, they always have a campaign that's called the Snow Way campaign. For example, when they notice that some sidewalks or some pathways are not properly plowed, which is a great challenge, especially like in the wintertime when
For
there's
sure,
snow. So they've been doing a lot of work when it comes to that. And yeah, they address. We address a lot of different things like that for advocacy.
yeah.
And my role in peer support, one of the things that I do is I help out with it's actually a program called Adjustment to Sight Loss, which I co-facilitate with another staff, and that's for people that just recently lost their vision, and especially, and we treat like we talk about different topics, and people are able to speak together, and to notice that they're not alone in their journey.
That's right. You mentioned your secondary education and then your post-secondary education, where you got a couple of degrees. Did you find that there was a different treatment that you received during your post-secondary education?
Well, it's very that's a very good question, and the way that it worked is that at first, when I first started in 2004, we had a big meeting. Like my parents were there, a social worker that was working in the independent living center where I was living, and a few other workers. We had a big meeting for starting my university studies, different support that I need. And the director of the translation program at the time, because that was my main interest at first, and the person who was there was not the most open person to having someone with sight loss in the program. The person said that I would have a lot of challenges with having the dictionaries not compatible with the screen reader that I'm currently working with on the computer called JAWS. So that screen reader wouldn't have been compatible. And for a while, I kind of believed it. So that's why I thought, well, I might change my fields. I wanted to explore other fields. And when I did my arts bachelor, which I regret nothing at all of that, because I was able to explore other fields for myself. I always had translation in my mind. I always wanted to. I always wanted to take that program. So the last year of my courses, I had a few optional courses to take, and I decided to take a few translation courses. I thought I'm going to try it out, and I really did. I did well. I really enjoyed it, and the director, it was someone else that was the director, and then I was able to follow the program after I completed my other bachelor. So through these challenges, I kind of, it really made me realize that I had the determination to want to go forward, and I'm very happy that I did. And I do have, this person, former director, to thank in a way for for making me go forward and prove not really just to others, but mostly to myself that I was able to do it.
Excellent. So currently, and carrying forth into present day, you're working with CNIB.
Yes.
How long have you been there?
I've been working for CNIB since the month of October of last year.
October 2025.
Yes.
And how are things going?
Uh, Things are going very well. I just love working for that organization because I've been involved. Well, first of all, I was a participant and a client in that organization for many years. So I had been receiving services. And for quite a few years after university, because of course, after university comes the job search, and which was a great challenge. But during that time, I decided that I wanted to do something with my time. I'm not a person that wants to just sit around and just like doing. I wanted to be productive, so I was very active as a volunteer for different organizations, and the CNIB was one of the main organizations for which I was volunteering. So anytime I would help out with reception work, doing presentations in schools, different things. And when the job opportunity came forward, well, I jumped right on it, and I'm very happy that I did, because I find being in this position is very rewarding. I'm able to give back what I receive, and to be able to really interact with other people living with sight loss, and just feel that I can make that difference, just to be that either that listening ear or giving a few suggestions based on my own experience. It's very, very rewarding in my job.
Excellent. So, do you find that the sports community in the Greater Moncton area is receptive to people with vision challenges? Are you involved in any sports?
I am actually. I've been involved with organizations for sports for quite a few years. I've done, well, I did play goalball, the sport that I had mentioned earlier on. I played that for a number of years off and on, more for leisure, not necessarily to compete. But there are a number of sports that people who live with sight loss can play. Right now, currently, I'm curling.
Curling?
I'm part of a blind curling team.
At the Moncton Curling Club?
Yes, at Curl Moncton.
Excellent. How many tournaments have you been involved in?
Well, so we've had two national tournament. It's the Canadian Vision Impaired Curling Championship. I've been a part of one of them in. So the last year it was in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and this year I was in Edmonton, Alberta. So it was
How did that go?
it was a wonderful experience. Um, so I've learned a lot. Like we really have an excellent coach that really helps us out. That gives us wonderful tips to be able to play with with my team, and to meet people from other areas, and just to be able to kind of even get tips from some other people on how they play, and just to build great friendships. I just find it's such an awesome experience.
Awesome, awesome. How many games did you win, if you don't mind, in Edmonton? I heard you won a game in Sydney when you were a brand new team, which is remarkable. You beat Saskatchewan this year in 2026. You played in Edmonton. How did you do? How many games did you win?
Yes, so our New Brunswick team, actually. Oh boy, just a minute. My mind is just going a bit. Was it yeah, 2 games, 3. Yeah, 2 games that we won. So that was really like such a great I guess accomplishment for us, because the very first year we didn't even expect to win one game, and we ended up winning. And this year we thought, well,
The
if
win that you did in Sydney, I heard you came from behind to beat Saskatchewan. That's remarkable.
we did. It was really a great surprise, a very pleasant surprise. And yeah, so and then we were able to win. We were able to win 2 games this year, which was really like a great accomplishment for
In
sure.
Edmonton, you won 2 games.
In Edmonton, yes.
Excellent. That must have been really, really proud.
Oh, yes. Like it was, we were so happy. And it's not even about winning. It's just really like, for me, just the fact to see all the improvements of the team. It was just so wonderful. And I'm looking forward to, keeping to go forward and being part of of other tournaments
When's
in
your
the
next
future.
tournament?
Well, the next tournament will be it'll be it will actually be in 2028, and yeah, so we're really hoping that we'll be able to play lots as well, and keep practicing here in the area.
Excellent. Is there any place, Natalie, that people can go to support the team financially and support any causes for people with visual challenges financially?
Uh, some places that people can go.
Like, where would people go, say, to donate to the curling team?
Yes.
So you
Uh,
guys represent the visually challenged in Moncton. Your team is a representative.
yes, yes, we absolutely are. We absolutely are. Um, so our Moncton, like our group, our team is actually called like CCB Moncton Curling. It's with the Canadian Council of the Blind,
And you have
right?
those red shirts, right?
Yes, we do. We do. Oh, I should have put it out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Natalie. What I'm going to do, Natalie, is I'm going to put a bunch of links in the bio and in the comment section after the video here when I put it on YouTube. And
Yes,
people will be able to go there and have a look and donate if they like.
absolutely, absolutely. That's appreciated.
Excellent. No worries. Do you have any other ideas for fundraising, Natalie, for the cause? Any other ways people could support?
Any other ways? Um, I'm just trying to think like that.
No worries.
Because oh yeah, like we're definitely open to all like all the we're like we will be eventually doing some like some fundraising activities as well that people will be able to be part of.
Oh, excellent. So,
That's
in
for sure.
closing, Natalie, what would you like to say to people about your life's journey, about the future? Anything you'd like for people to know about Natalie Fougere and for people with vision challenges? And any message for the public out there?
Well, what I have to say is that no matter what challenge that you're going through, it's not always like a fun walking in the park. It can be very challenging and there can be very hard times, but when you really reach out to having good support and realizing that you're not alone. And I find for me it's all about the like positive mindset. I've been a person that always had like or tried my best to have a very positive attitude on just on life in general, and telling myself, okay, this challenge is happening, but let's go a step forward. And even if I go one or two step back, it's always about not giving up and like keeping going forward. For sure.
Natalie, we're very, very impressed with the inspiring mentality and the positivity that you exude. We appreciate you coming on the podcast, Road of Life podcast with John Miller today. And we wish you all the best and thank you for being so inspiring. Stay strong.
Thank you so much for having me.
No
It's a
worries.
pleasure.
Take care.